to our second annual Mega Wellness Summit, where we are transforming lives one aha moment at a time. I'm your host, Nikki Jencen, and thank you so much for tuning in and sharing this event with your friends and family. I know you are going to thoroughly enjoy today's interview. I'm talking with Vicki Murphy, who is a psychic medium and integrative energy expert. We're going to dive deep into how you can heal by tapping into the body on an energetic level, heal emotionally by listening to those who have passed over, and be guided by angels to identify hidden or underlying energetic blocks. So we have a full show for you today, so sit back, enjoy, and relax. Welcome, Vicki Murphy. How are you?
Hi, Nikki. I'm fine. Thanks so much for having me on the show. I really, really am excited about sharing everything with everyone.
We're excited that you're on Mega Wellness Summit. I know I met you probably like a couple months ago at a fair in Carlsbad, and I was really, really impressed with your reading. And I bought your cards, and I bought your meditation CD, and I'm really impressed. So obviously you had to come on to our summit so you can share all your gifts with our audience. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for that confirmation. I work a lot with our angelic realm, and am guided as we're sitting and we're looking at energy. Part of my giftedness is in being able to see energy within the body, and reading that information that is given to us spiritually is so important in every facet of our life. So it's important to the physical aspect of our bodies. It's important to our creating the perfect career and the perfect love relationship. And I would love to share with everybody my beliefs. And they're a little different. I was raised Catholic, so I do have a strong belief in God, but I've incorporated some other things. My father worked for the CIA, and so I grew up knowing that there were multidimensional aspects to our physical life. So it really set the tone for my being able to do this work with a really open mind. So my beliefs are that before we come here, we have a soul plan. And that soul plan is of God and our angelic realm. And it is about what life experiences we need to walk through in order to learn and grow. And that our family members and our loved ones, et cetera, are part of a larger soulmate group that help challenge us in certain and specific ways so that we can achieve the growth that we want. And when we look at it like that, then it makes sense, and we can often look at things in a different way that allow us to release and heal in a whole different way, energetically.
Right. Now, let's go back to your father being in the CIA and that connection there, because people are going to go, what? Even though, I have tapped into that a bit. If you can elaborate more on that, where is the connection between him being a CIA and then you connecting with on the spiritual realm?
Well, when you are sitting around a dinner table and you're having conversations about, yes, there are aliens, and yes, which is really a weird concept, but scientifically it was given. When I was in my 20s, he handed me a book on reincarnation, and he never, ever spoused his beliefs on myself or my brother. As a matter of fact, my brother is a pretty devout Christian. But we were supported in going through different processes and thinking through things, and it just really broadens your ability to be open-minded. And so with that, my mother was also had a really interesting life. She worked for President Eisenhower, and she actually flew in his helicopter and had eyes-only clearance, and she joined the Foreign Service. And in Rome, my parents met And at that time, my father was Special Forces Air Force, and then he joined the CIA after that. And I actually was born in Vietnam, and they left shortly after because the war was starting to escalate. Not to give my age away, but I'm old.
That is incredible. I have chills all over my body. And, you know, it's so funny because we are talking to Laura Eisenhower on Mega Wellness Summit, and it turns out that your mom actually worked with the Eisenhowers. That's just coincidence, really, but
it is
very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah,
do you know Laura?
I don't.
You should look her up. Her story is very interesting as well, and so you two would have a lot to talk about.
Love it. I'll certainly look her up. Absolutely.
Definitely. So, but very cool. I can't believe that you're sitting at the dinner table talking about that aliens are real, and how many people don't think that is that's part of our truth. But I guess that's really a part of a CIA cover-up, is to share that you're crazy if you think that aliens are real. Is that the truth for you?
Yeah, there was a lot of that, and that has really they've come a long way now. It's not being covered up as much. There's a lot of information available now, both scientifically and just in general. And now let's go take it a step further. My uncle, who just recently passed away, was a colonel in Area 51. So we had a lot of knowledge, and it wasn't scary. And, that's the beauty. I didn't come up thinking that any of this was scary.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of taken for granted in a way. But, and so it made sense to me as I was going into energy practice that we are more than our bodies,
Right. Wow. Incredible. And you are a Reiki master, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
I am a Reiki master practitioner and teacher. I certify people as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for people who don't know what Reiki is, can you just give it a brief description?
Yeah, really briefly and to the point, it's basically hands-on healing, and it's an ancient form of healing that was really, I don't want to say just discovered in Tibet, because honestly I think that it was brought forth long ago to the planet, and it has enjoyed a resurgence lately. But even in the 60s, when Dr. Takata, who is a female that was learning from the original practitioners, brought it over to the United States, she went before Congress in 1962 and spoke to the benefits of anti-aging and other healing that can be created using Reiki. And it's channeling energy. So honestly, it's a lot like prayer.
Right. My mother is a Reiki master as well, and she works on me all the time. And I just recently had a bout of pneumonia. Now, I don't go to the doctor, so I diagnosed myself with pneumonia. Just that's a disclosure.
Yes.
But she worked on me for actually several hours using Reiki and essential oils and teas, and I was so much better the next day. And I have to continually work on my lungs just because of my past. I've never been a smoker, but sometimes I sound like a smoker just because my lungs, they're not the best for some reason. So my mom worked on me, and surely they get so much better. And living in the dry climate helps as well.
Right. And I want to speak to that really quickly. I've seen thousands of people all over the world, and I do remote healing often. And I have had incredible success. I also work with cancer patients up in LA. And one of, I've seen tumors shrink all the way down to disappearing. I have seeing pain disappear, everything from arthritic to other types of operative pain. And it's been really fascinating to me using that. Now, touching on kind of what you said about your lungs, I am also a past life specialist. And again, thanks, Dad. Neither of my parents are here anymore. They've crossed over, which will lead us into our next conversation. But thank you, Dad, for creating such an open mind within me, because I started to have experiences with people, and there were really strong visions. And I'll give you an example. I took the hands of a young girl, and this is pertaining to your lungs, et cetera. She had come in, and I stopped her from telling me what the real issue was. I didn't want to know before I looked at her energy. And when I looked at her energy, I got a very specific download of information, and I saw her, and I didn't know this girl at all. I saw her in war-torn Germany, and she was in a nurse's uniform, and she was being sexually violated by a male in a uniform that looked like a soldier. And I saw she didn't die in that moment, but her life force drained away from her. And spiritually, I was told, given information angelically, that she did not complete her life in the way that she wanted to. She didn't have children. She didn't get married. She died young, feeling very spiritually depleted. And so they also said that she was here to experience some of the same types of challenges, but to have a different outcome. Now, I was a little horrified. This girl was 27, I think, pretty young. And so when I open my eyes, I'm always very, very careful with my angelic realm guides at giving information like this. And I said, well, let's start with the easy stuff. I said, by any chance, are you German? And she said, yes, I'm German. She said, but that's not the weirdest part of this. I am also a nurse. And when I was 18, I was sexually violated. And yet here she was sitting before me, newly married, excited about her life, so she had overcome, and she was looking to have a family. And that's what brought her in, because she was looking to have a family and was having difficulty becoming pregnant. At that point, I was able to look at her body. I looked in physically, because I'm a medical intuitive as well, and I can actually see in the body, and told her exactly what was going on. And when I looked in, half her body was non-functioning, and yet spiritually they were able to tell me and show me visually that she did have some function. So I asked her after that, well, what did the medical professionals say? And she said exactly that, except they weren't able to confirm that she had any function at all. So when you look at a past life situation, or you look at a physical manifestation like the lungs that you're talking about, sometimes it can be tied to a past life challenge. And I know that's a really foreign concept for a lot of people, and that's okay. But just know that sometimes you don't really even have to believe it. And I've done work on people and cleared things and used methods like Reiki and a couple of other multidimensional healing processes, and they've had incredible success.
I believe it.
Yeah, something that you might want to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's incredible. I think that it's important for people to open their eyes to understand that is another modality to tapping into another realm of truth for what's going on within your body.
Mm-hmm. And you can think of it kind of like a cellular memory. We're a molecular structure, right? We're made of molecules. And those molecules are vibrating at a certain rate of speed, and that's what gives the body its mass, or a stone its mass, or a tree its mass, right? Or a bird.
Mm-hmm.
And when we flow energy into another energetic vessel, if you will, like a body, it is felt. And then, there have been lots of studies on that. So like Dr. Emoto's study of water molecules. You're familiar with that.
Oh, yeah.
And so when we think of it in those terms, it's not so far-fetched.
Yeah.
And now there's more and more proof scientifically through studies of quantum physics and et cetera, and, dimensional studies, et cetera. So, and I, of course, have had so many incidences, and I have so many examples that it's easy for me to believe, but I can understand for those that may not have had any experiences before and they're hearing this for the first time, it might be a little hard to contemplate. So I do refer a lot of people to Dr. Emoto's study of water molecules because it's tangible and it really shows a tangible result of energy.
Yeah, and that we are made of water. And so,
yes.
Yeah, I love his study because it really gives the importance to know how important water is, and that if water can carry memory, then we are made of water, and that our memory is just in the water, not actually in our brain. And
right.
Yeah, and then it's incredible how you can speak to water, and the molecules with the word love will be beautiful and shiny and bright and stunning, and then you put the word hate, and I hate you, and the molecules change to something ugly and black. So really important to watch what you say to yourself and to others. Yeah, you hit on a great point there. And it's scientific. I mean, he shows you in his book how we are water, and that water is memory, and make sure we can learn from water. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And the important part for me is in the energy exchange. So how are you creating that memory in the water or in your body? Well, it's the exchange of energy. And sometimes whether you speak it or whether it's subconscious and you're thinking it, or it's cellular vibrational memory from past experiences, it still gets lodged as, if you want to call it energetic memory. It gets lodged in different parts of your physical body and can create very real, tangible physical symptoms.
Right.
Yeah.
And another great book is Your Body's Many Cries for Water, just saying how, his name is so long, it's like Dr. Batman something. But the book is really good and just talks about you're not full of disease, you're just dehydrated. So anyways, just getting off topic a little bit, but that goes hand in hand with what you just said.
Yeah, it's important to understand the concept, especially for people who are running patterns of behavior over and over, and they're getting so worn out by the cycle, and they're getting tired. Well, when you're holding a certain low-frequency vibration of belief within your body, pretty soon it causes cellular mutation, just like the water molecules, and you will be more prone to disease and illness.
Right.
So and that's why I do a lot of the work that I do, healing on all of those levels and supporting the body's natural ability to heal. There's intelligent energy in our cells. When we cut ourselves, the body knows how to heal. That's more scientific proof. So in knowing that, we are now using that information to support a greater scope and depth of healing, using the energy work to expand on that and to support cellular regeneration. And now people are doing studies on DNA, and it's fabulous and wild, and I love being in this industry right now. It's very exciting.
It is, and that's why it was so important to have mind, body, and spirit elements added into Mega Wellness Summit, because this is the up-and-coming information that everybody needs to know about, is that you can't just learn a dietary theory and lose weight and keep it off, you have to add elements of spirituality, and there's other modalities to learn about to have total wellness and total healing within the body. So it's great that that you are coming on and sharing your wisdom with us to say, hey, there's a lot of different ways to heal, and one is energy. Is you put your hands on somebody, isn't it powerful that we can receive a healing through your hands, through it's just amazing. I don't know exactly how it works, but I do know that the power of prayer is extremely powerful and life-changing. And so I do know that aspect. As far as what you call in to put a healing on somebody, I don't know that.
That is, again, having to do with less tangible ability to see and flow energy. And it does have to do with specific frequencies. It's kind of like tuning the dial on a radio. Think of an old-fashioned dial on the radio. It's tuning into a specific frequency and then allowing your body to be kind of the wire, if you will, for that frequency to run through you as a vehicle for that very specific purpose.
Right.
So, yeah, that's kind of my illustration as far as explaining how it works. It is an ancient healing art, and when you receive that ability, it's called an attunement, and you really are attuned to a very specific frequency, and you're given some, and it's not a lot of information on the internet now about this as well, but you're given specific hand movements and things that have a belief attached to them. And anytime you have something, whether it's an object or an act or something like that, that has belief attached to it, and this is centuries, of belief accrued within this practice, it becomes stronger and stronger energetically. So that's part of the kind of the why behind it, behind the science as well of the energy work.
It's like it can go right into the DNA, our emotions, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they do. And, speaking of that, when we're talking about food and et cetera, imagine this. And this is an area that is up and coming as well along those lines, is looking at vibrations that are attached to foods within your own belief system. So, and seeing what beliefs are attached to the foods. Now, I go take it a step further because I look back into past lives, and I look into triggers in this lifetime as well. Like, why are you here studying that? Why is that a tool for your challenge? And we challenge ourselves in order to learn and grow. So what is behind that? What is the lesson that you are to learn by having this challenge in your life?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And just going back to talking about the energy of food, and I'm very sensitive to other people's energy and to energy. So if you walk into the grocery store, let's say of a conventional grocery store, I don't know where everybody is in the world, but I live in California, where there's Ralph's and there's Albertsons and they're selling GMO pesticide food. So you walk in and the energy is very low. You walk into Whole Foods where everything is grown organically, and the energy of the food is so high. You almost walk out of there like you're walking on clouds.
Yes.
Because the energy of the food is so intense. And then when you go home and you cook with that food, you're ingesting the energy of the food and the love of the people who planted it. Because, it's the farmers, we thank God for farmers and organic farmers, because they seem to be so much happier. They're happy to be providing you. It's a gift. The gift that organic farmers give us is that, they have a knack of centuries old, of growing food. And then they say, you're welcome. Here you go. Your gift is healing through food. And, and it's such an amazing, powerful thing.
It is really powerful. And you are very sensitive because you have done a lot of work in healing and you're very aware. For others with maybe some karmic challenges that they haven't worked through yet, they might not be able to feel it in the same way. I teach a form of, I call it vibrationally shopping, where you go in and you don't want to look crazy, right? You're not going to go and put your hand and hover it above the food. But essentially, you're going to stand quietly prior to going and set an intention. And then when you walk into the market, you can walk up and feel what you are being drawn to. And I do actually do the crazy thing sometimes if no one's around, and I'll put my hand over something and ask for angelic guidance to see if that is something that, I'm feeling drawn to. Is that what I need this week? Is that going to create, and again, setting an intention. Maybe I'm needing balance. Maybe I'm not sleeping so well. Whatever it is you want to create, there are foods, teas, herbs, etc., that can help you create that balance or create that reality in your life that you can ingest. So vibrational shopping is really, really important.
Very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I definitely think that it's a tool. I just walk right into the grocery store, and I'm a chef, so I work with food all the time, so I'm very connected to it. I've always loved food. Like I was watching the cooking channel at a very young age. I would say about 5 years old. I was watching the cooking channel, and when it wasn't called the cooking channel. It was just, I think it was like on PBS or something. And I was watching, French chefs cook on in the 80s, and so it's very different nowadays. But my father, he's also a very, very good cook, and he worked in the restaurants as when he was younger. And my mother is a very, very good cook as well. So I come of a long line of people who absolutely love food, and so I can walk into a grocery store and I can automatically, I don't even need to stand there. I can just feel the difference.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting. At an early age, you kind of identified with your soul purpose. So I think that's interesting, too, knowing, getting to that place where we know who we are and what our true joy is. Very important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I did. I was in social work for 8 years, and that was one of the most trying times of my life, just because it was definitely not what I was supposed to do. I think I know that I was supposed to learn from the experience, and shift and grow, but at the same time, it was definitely a challenge doing something that I didn't want to do. And I sat there day after day dreaming about my future, of what I wanted it to be and what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to work with food and cook for people and have people, because I'm like, I can make people happy with my food. I know it.
Beautiful. And it's another area that I help people with. When you're a nurturer healer, and there are a lot of us here on the planet right now, you are so sensitive that some nurturing healing fields, even though you have this ability to be good, aren't really in alignment with your true purpose, but may even be harmful at times. There are people that are so sensitive as healer nurturers, much like kind of what you described, where they get into a situation, whether it be nursing or teaching, and those are fabulous fields for the right giftedness, right?
Right.
But here you were possibly creating cellular mutation and, lower vibration in your body accidentally in a great field.
Right.
But I'm really glad that you took the time to daydream, because look where you are now.
Yes.
It's really just kind of
this took a lot of manifestation to get to where I am today, because it was not an easy road, but it was a road that I needed to take. and it was necessary to get to where I am today. And I think for anybody listening out there who has a dream, who if you keep dreaming at a desk that you don't necessarily love your job, and you keep dreaming of the what if you could be or could have been, that's a big sign that you need to start taking your life back and get the power from wherever. Go see Vicki. She'll tell you exactly what you need to do. And go live your life. You know?
Yeah, and I do really urge people to do that, because when you are aligned with your true purpose, you are unconditionally supported by the universe. And I, again, have thousands of stories of success, my own included, where I was in a life that didn't fit for me and knew that I wanted to be an artist. Finally went and got my degree, but under duress. I was doing other things while I was working at that degree. Didn't know how I was going to make a living because everyone was telling me I wouldn't be able to, and left. And as I left and I took that chance, walking through a ton of fear, because it requires that. Fear is a tool for growth. And I teach people how to walk through it in a safe way and to embrace it. And when I did do that and took on that process, I landed in the most fabulous art career, and I worked in that industry for 30 years, and I was on magazines and making six figures. And honestly, once you achieve that, once you are understanding how the energy works, you can create again and again in different ways, recreating yourself and going through different levels of your purpose, and really just loving your life and doing what you really came here to do.
Right. Yeah, there was a time that I couldn't take it anymore. I was 28 years old, and I just couldn't take it any longer, living the way that I was living. And I think we all come into this time, and the words have escaped me, of the time of between your 28 and about 31, that you go in through a time of your life where you open up to your life's purpose. Do you know what that's called?
I don't know a specific name for that, but I do know that prior to that, your frontal cortex in your brain is kind of shut down and just coming back up at around age 25, which leads into that next phase that you're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
So part of it's developmental.
I asked my mom, I said, what am I supposed to do? Why am I here on planet Earth? I am not here to just be a mother and a wife and to just walk through life aimlessly. I have a purpose. I remember this as a very young age, when I was a very young girl, and even growing up as a teenager. You're going to be something big. The world needs you. Then what happened is I lost that. I got married. I lost myself through that. And then I had children. I lost myself through that. So it was just a complete, I don't want to say disillusionment, but I completely lost myself. And so I said to my mom, who am I? What am I supposed to do with my life? And she actually walked me through it. And it took me about a month. But when I figured it out, I was like, oh, my gosh, yes, this is my life's purpose. And when I found my purpose, it was like I was born again.
Yes. Yes, because now you're running a different vibration through your body, and you can really tell the difference. You are energized. You have brought the joy back. And I do a lot of work with inner children, and we all have those, our inner child, and to help people get connected again to the true purpose here. And it's just a beautiful feeling and a beautiful thing to watch people step into that energy. It's amazing. So, again, there's cellular vibration that happens, and they enjoy better health. A lot of people that are doing what they love, really don't get sick as often. And so it's amazing. It's amazing.
It absolutely is. And I think that it breaks down a lot of barriers in your life as well. You might have different barriers that come along, but and lessons. I'm always a student of life, and so and just to live life to its fullest every single day. And I wake up and I thank God, and I thank the universe. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for this day. Thankful that I'm thankful for my breath. I mean, from coming from a point where I went to the doctor and I said, look, I'm kind of I feel like I'm losing my will to live. And you know what the doctor said, of course? Well, I can put you on some antidepressants. And I was like, I just don't know if that's the right choice for me, but let me think about it and get back to you. And that obviously wasn't the right choice.
Right, and I'm holistic, and there are times when there is a physical thing going on because you've gone down that rabbit hole so far that sometimes medicine is necessary in order to support you while you climb back up. So I laugh, but I'm not laughing at that. We're here to collect data and information, right? And that's really what you were doing. I love that description. You were being wife, mom. Yeah, you felt like you got pulled off your path, but really what you were doing is feeding your life purpose. You gathered so much data and information that is allowing you now to be stronger in that purpose and allowed you to get to the point where you were ready to graduate to that next level and walk into doing what you love. And again, perception is part of the energetic aspect of creating what you want. We want to release any negative energy, yes, but we also then want to change our beliefs and to look at things a little differently. And that's, very much what you were in the process of doing. And I love it. Great story.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I want to shift gears, and I want to talk about, first I want to tell a little bit of a story about your cards. And at the fair, we're just walking around, and, of course, I'm very sensitive to energy, but I walk over, and I feel your energy right away. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And I see that you have angel cards. And I'm going, oh, this is very cool. So you have me sit down, and do you remember this at all?
I kind of do, because your energy was also really fluffy and nice. I really liked it. And it's interesting because, I see thousands of people, and I'm on the radio every other Monday and all over the world. But I do remember.
Wow. I'm impressed by that, because I know there was a ton of people that day, and I shared something with you. That week was a very hard week for me. So what had happened, and I'll share this with everybody who is on the call today, because it's something that's real, and I have been wanting to think about if I should share the story or not, but I'm going to share it today because it has to do with the story of your card. You had me pull a couple of cards from your deck, and first of all, you said, I have a very strong energy here of a grandmother, like your grandmother is here with you. And I was like, oh, okay. And then you said she's a very powerful woman, and she, I think you even said she likes to play cards. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's my grandmother, Rosalie, who passed over, and I never met her. And you said, well, she's protecting you and your daughter. And so what had happened with my daughter that week was probably one of the worst weeks of my life. I get a call on Thursday. Now, I saw you on that Sunday. I got a call on Thursday. And the teacher, I get a call. I mean, who gets a call from their teacher at 5 o'clock at night from their kid? My daughter is 5 years old. And Tatum runs over, and she goes, Mom, it's my teacher. I'm going, what? I go, hello. And she goes, hi, is this Tatum's mom? I said, yeah. She goes, hi, this is Tatum's teacher. I just wanted to let you know something happened at school today. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, I just want to let you know that Tatum was being touched by a little boy right in front of me. And the little boy was touching her private parts on the carpet. So right there, I just lost it. I lost it in front of my children. I started crying uncontrollably because I was just, from right there, I'm like, it was devastating for me. And I'm like, how will she recover from this, and how much of an impact did this make on her, and where do we begin with the healing process? And so your card tapped into that right away. Mm-hmm. And so the card that I pulled was about the reproductive system area. Mm-hmm. And so then that's when I told you what happened. And, you know, and as hurtful as it is still to this day to even talk about it, just because I can see that there is some damage, you know,
some residual
damage there that we are working through. And I just want to let every parent out there know that this stuff happens to children every day, and that to be aware that it can happen at school. I mean, right in front of the teacher. So, you know, the boy who did it was removed from the class, not the school, but the class. And, you know, so Tatum didn't really have to see him every day. Yeah. But at the same time, she didn't really understand. And so you were able to give me some really good advice on how to deal with the pain and how to deal with Tatum and start the healing process. And so I really want to thank you, too, for sharing your wisdom with me, and for your cards as well. And, you know, the meditation CDs have helped as well. And, you know, we've worked through it. It took a bit of time for this all to pass, but thank you.
Yeah, well, you are so welcome. And I just want to say thank you for opening up right now and sharing with everybody who's listening, because that's a hard thing to share. And yet, when we start to understand it in a different way, it does help us heal it. Now, I want to address the cards, and then we'll talk about that a little bit more. I developed these cards and channeled them angelically. I'm very connected to angel energy. And these are aligned with kind of body Reiki energy and the energy of healing. So the cards are in 4 parts. They have lots of different aspects of your physical body, anything from soft tissue to bone structure to organs to then the energy parts of your body, which are the chakras, etc. As well, there is a section that is for clearing, where affirmations are given, and then another section that is for what I call infusion, which is like a blessing, and that energy is given. And the way that they're to be used is when you're at home, you can use them on your own, or you can use them with others. So it's kind of like a little mini guided clearing, healing meditation session.
Yes, absolutely.
And, yeah, that's the best way to describe it. And especially when you're faced with such a big challenge, and I work with so many people that have had incredibly difficult challenges, similar to that, and some worse and some not as bad. It's important to look at things differently. And when we understand that we have a soul plan, and that not only are we here walking to learn, and I mean all of us, but we're also, as we cross paths with one another, we're teaching others as well. We all have that as part of the soul plan. So we're growing ourselves, and then we're also growing others. And then another level is when we are collecting all this data and information, we are to be gifting it out into the world. So now we're teaching others. And it's much like what you're doing now. You've taken all of that hurt and pain, and you're channeling it both to heal yourself, your daughter, your family, and then now gifting it out to heal others. And that's part of our divine purpose.
Right. I share the story to impact other people's lives who might be dealing with the same thing, who can identify with that, but also to understand that, there are different ways of tapping in to learning about the reason why this did happen. What is the lesson behind it? How can we move forward? And so it was great to go in and have a session with you and really learn about what the bigger picture is. Sometimes we have our blinders on and we can only see a bit of a part of our pain, but there's a reason why it's happening, and whether it's a cellular level, an emotional level, it's all connected. And so what you and your cards do is put the puzzle pieces together, and you go, oh, it's so fitting for Mega Wellness Summit because we're having aha moments all the time during this summit. And so I think everybody who sits down with you will go, oh, I just had an aha moment.
I always ask for that to be the intention. And I always say as well to God in the universe, send me people that are ready, willing, and able to be brave. Because, ready, willing, and able because you are ready to take on this kind of growth. And brave because sometimes you are having to look at some painful things that are not always pleasant. But if they're stopping you from being happy or healthy, then I urge everybody to get brave. Let's look.
Right. And put, fear is a great tool, but at the same time, to break down the barriers of fear is it's really a powerful thing. And I had so many fears. I remember with public speaking, I could publicly speak when I was a child and a teenager. And then I had children, and I became totally sheltered and afraid of life, of everything. And
that's common, by the way.
Oh, good. Oh, good. And so I started by going to little groups of I was going to angel groups actually, and healing groups, and we had to say our names, like, hi, I'm Nikki, and it would get to be my time to say my name, and I could barely say it. My heart would start pounding. It would I thought I was going to vomit just by saying, hi, my name is Nikki. And so that fear I had to break through by going week after week after week and saying my name, because I felt like my name wasn't even my name, So I felt, So,
and I love that example. That's very much what I teach, is to go in and use your fear as a tool for growth. I do offer some accelerated ways of doing it, because when you incorporate exactly what you did, plus then layer it in with energy work, you can kind of achieve that a little bit faster. But I love that you did that for yourself. What a gift.
Thank you. Oh, and I have to tell you this too. So I was playing with your cards, right? And I had just said to my mom, gosh, I feel like I have to get a bigger computer because my eyes are having some issues with seeing. And so I pulled the card, and guess what it comes up as?
Probably the eye.
the eye. And I go, can you even stand it that this popped up for me? She goes, that is so bizarre. So it's so incredible how these cards really work. And my mother and I, we have a lot of fun with your cards.
Well, let me say this too for everybody else. I developed them as a tool for communication with your spiritual realm, your guides, your angels, your loved ones, and it's a tool. So with that intention being put in, I'm not surprised that happened for you, because you're communicating with the other side, with your angels who are confirming, yes, look at your eyes. Let's do some clearing work and healing.
Oh, that was powerful right there, what you just said. You know, and some of these things, too, you could wake up in the morning and you can pull a card and you have an affirmation right there. So it will tell you what you need to work on or what to affirm for the day. And so for this one, I'll just read it out loud. I release all energetic blockages to my spiritual connection. I feel my chakras clearing, aligning perfectly. I feel connected to my intuition. Here's the affirmation. I am guided. I trust. I believe. So you can say those over and over and over again until it, until it really sinks in.
Right. And when you're doing an infusion kind of work like that with affirmations or assertions, you're changing the vibrational frequency in your brain. So if you were all to stand up and close your eyes and imagine feeling
I'm going to do this.
Okay, let's have you stand up and close your eyes, and anybody else who's listening.
Okay.
Make sure that you're balanced. Imagine picking up a bucket with your left hand that is filled with wet sand, okay? And it's heavy. Okay, and you can feel it. It's pulling on your arms, pulling on your shoulder. You can really feel it. And I'm just going to do a quick short demonstration, okay? But you can really feel this. And pretend somebody walks up and they pour more water in it. Now it's getting so heavy, and it's just leaning you over, and you're just allowing your arm. You're feeling your elbow, and you can't hold it up anymore, and you've got to put it down. Okay, so you can all open your eyes now. That's just a short demonstration. But what it's an illustration for is you just fed your brain, which is your energetic connection center. You fed your brain a concept with the words, okay, about heavy bucket, and a visual, seeing the bucket with the sand. And those two things in combination created a reality. You can actually feel it in your arm. And you may still be feeling it. So I urge you all to clear your arm. But you can create realities that easily. That's how powerful you are. So when you're doing the affirmation work and you're repeating, you're creating a familiarity with a new concept, okay? Say you don't believe in trust, you're having trust issues. Maybe that's the virtue you've come forth to study. If you're saying, I'm learning to trust, I'm beginning to learn to trust, and there are others that can be designed specifically for each person's needs. But as you're doing that and you're repeating it over and over, you're starting to create a different, familiar vibrational frequency and feeding your brain.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very intense, and I want to pull another card just so I can read for our audience here. It's very, very powerful, and I'm just picking cards at random right now. So, okay, so what popped up for me was organ system, meridians, and nervous system, neck and head.
And especially when things like that come up, and I'm looking at your energy right now, and it could be that you're bent over in an uncomfortable way as well. But know that is what they're telling you. They're like, straighten up, take a break.
Yeah.
And it can be that immediate. It can be that moment in time. Or we can look deeper. If somebody's having chronic issues in that area of their body, they're going to give us different information. But that's what they gave me right now. It's like
that was very true. And Vicki, I swear, I was just slumped over so bad. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to pull another one. Oh, I pulled the eyes again. No kidding. I wish I had a picture right now. I pulled the eyes again.
Again, I'm not surprised. What is happening is they're trying to give you the message and the connection between the way that you're sitting and running your meridian energy. And let me just clarify, meridians are very attached to nerve energy, okay? And when you're sitting in a certain way and you're cutting off your nerves, okay, because you got this beautiful spinal column, and when your spine is pinched and you're cutting off nerves, you can be cutting off ocular information and nerves and creating headaches and all kinds of things, right? But it can very much be attached to that and creating issues and challenges with your sight and your vision.
Right.
Now, for you, the computer, they said, is an issue, and it is good that you're going to get something bigger, but you also want to start doing some proactive clearing on your eyes on a daily basis and give them a rest. You're not resting in eyes.
Oh, yeah. Well, that would be it. Well, we are in a summit, so it's like very tough to get away from it. And I do have times, like in the summer, where I give myself a break. But this is busy season right now, and yeah. So I don't know how
to what
exactly.
You just said. Listen to what you just said. This is busy season, and I'm in a summit. So that's a limiting belief, because you, as a wonderful creator, can create balance along with positive flow, with a summit, and all the other abundance that's flowing to you.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, and it's funny, we'll buy into things that, we hear from other people or we've been told or taught along the way, and we don't even realize that we're buying into a low-frequency belief that is limiting us. But we are limitless. We are limitless.
We are.
And we can honestly create anything that we want. We just have to tap in and see what energy is flowing within the body, and to get organ information and trigger information and find out what it is. It's creating patterns.
Yeah. Right. I found myself, I was just kind of, I was just rejecting what was being said to you, I guess, where I was saying, well, here I can't get away from the computer because I'm in a summit. Duh. Don't you understand that? And then,
I love it.
And then they were, you just said, excuse me, but this is a limiting human belief that you just put on yourself, and that if you give yourself some rest and some time to yourself, go do some yoga and go breathe and meditate, that time will shift accordingly.
Okay, think about, right, and let's take it a step further. Why do you do that? Because underlying is a fear belief that if I don't do it or don't get it right or I don't do this, it will fall apart or it won't come together or something bad will happen.
Yeah.
Or it won't get done. So when we identify fears like that, we can dive into them and we can clear them. And then when you go and you're standing at a different frequency and you go do yoga, magically everything falls in place in the rest of your world. That's a brief summation, okay? And that's really simplified, but it does work.
Yeah. Well, it does, and you're so right. And so, hey, we all have to look, and you just heard it right here, that we all have limiting beliefs. I don't know if you do, but I know that I do.
I'm here.
I do.
Yeah, I'm right there.
But
I have funny stories. I tell them on myself all the time when I'm doing public speaking or on my Facebook page, because we're all here, walking to learn, and it's layers of learning.
Yeah.
So, I'm right there with you.
We're all having a human experience. So I want to tell everybody, too, that probably later this week you have something incredibly great for our listeners, and so they're going to have to stay tuned to the end of the week to hear what you have in store for them. It's going to be pretty phenomenal. So I will let everybody know what that is, and to keep watching out for their email, because I'll have that information out soon. So, Vicki, you are a light. Thank you so much. It was such a fun hour spending this time with you, and I appreciate your time and your energy and everything you have to offer to everybody.
Well, thanks, Nikki. I loved it. It was so much fun, and I'm really super excited about what we're going to offer. Thank you so much again for having me.
You're so welcome, and thank you so much for being a part of Mecca Wellness Summit. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
You're welcome.